Welcome to the 9642 podcast. This is your host, Mr. Number 9.
And this is the Fool.
This is where me and the Fool give our
Unqualified and unrequested
ramblings on the various issues in the world of sport.
or something like that.
Hello, we are here to talk about football, the Copa Mundial, the World Cup, the tournament that we always complain about but get super excited as it approaches closer and closer every 4 years.
Yeah, you spend 3 out of 4 years complaining about it and the corruption and everything, and then maybe not even a whole year, half a year, just amping for it and really liking it. So,
Yeah,
part of the whole cycle.
Absolutely, and the last two tournaments had both maximum controversy and maximum excitement in their tournaments. But we bid adieu to that old format, the 32 team format, and we have our new expanded 48 team division. We'll see how long this expansion lasts. With this World Cup system has one big advantage, that it allows the best team in the world, the All Whites, to automatically qualify for every World Cup.
Exactly. It's just amazing.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And we can see that and in that note, we will start off with the most important and best confederation in football, the OFC.
Yeah.
Oceania. The team, they've been given 1 and a third spots, so they had the team that finished second in qualifying would go on to the playoffs.
Yeah.
No surprises to anyone. The All Whites made it all the way through, did not concede a goal in qualifying, I believe, at all.
At all, no. All the way
no,
through.
they conceded 1 goal against Vanuatu.
Oh, did we?
In November last year.
Oh, we did too. Look at that, yes. 17th minute goal by Tas. But yeah.
That was an equalizer too, Tasip.
Yeah, Tasip, made it equal, and then then 7 more goals by the All Whites.
On that note, Chris Wood obviously topped the qualifying group. He was on fire last year.
Yeah.
And he continued that form for New Zealand. Obviously, the most important thing for any team to bring to the World Cup is an informed striker.
Yeah, exactly. And as you say, last year especially, like, Chris Wood was very much on fire, scoring when he wanted, and there was, with our qualifying, most of our other players were very, very good. With the A-League players, we had, I think players that might not have been as considered showing their wares at Auckland FC and down at the Wellington Phoenix as well, and so it's looking very good. And the friendlies so far this year as well, after the qualifying, have looked very very promising as well. So, I mean, we have lost to 2 South American teams, but they were pretty close games, especially the one against Colombia in the weekend. It was 2-1, and 1-1 up till the very last minute. But hey.
I mean, these are what the friendlies are for. We're building up the chemistry between the players and getting them into the right mindset before the tournament next year. The All Whites were, I believe, after the host, the 2nd or 3rd team to qualify for the World Cup. And mathematically, they beat New Caledonia 3-0 in Auckland. But it's exciting times for New Zealand football and Oceania football as well. The Oceania Pro League finally last week announced how the format of that Pro League will work. We'll have a proper professional league.
Which is pretty good.
Yeah, and we get the South Island represented by Christchurch City, though there has been some backlash because they changed their name to South Island United. And their badge is just a big map of the South Island, so it looks like when you did your homework on using clip art back in high school.
Yes.
And I thought that was good enough. I'm not sure that's gonna pay off. Like, I do understand how the Wellington Phoenix will feel unhappy about not missing out on this, but I'm sure this league will have expansion later on.
Yeah, yeah.
They are going to be playing in in single areas, in almost like small little mini tournaments throughout the season. So the opening few games are played at Eden Park. 17th January next year, we'll see
Nice.
Auckland FC play, hopefully against the South Island United.
Yeah.
That would be a great way to open up the tournament. There's a bunch of great teams in this tournament. I would highly recommend people talk to look up the podcast done by the World Football Podcast, the Sweeper Podcast, which is a world football podcast. So they look at a lot of individual continents. They did say that they will do a further preview, and these guys have been interviewing people, and one of the people in the Sweeper Podcast actually went and coached American Samoa.
Oh, okay.
3 years, and he went to Kiribati to form a football team. So he's really intimately familiar with Oceania football.
Yeah.
And like both of them, like they have really good CVs to know. They know what they're talking about when they're going on around the world talking about obscure football leagues.
Yeah.
So I don't want to give it away. It's a great podcast if you're interested in the Oceania football. But yeah, watch this space. We're no longer going to be the easy beat division like outside of New Zealand. Expect all our Oceania brethren to improve their games and do better. Looking it up, this is one of the first times I think in a long time that all 11 members were eligible. All competed, which is really great.
That is really good.
Yeah, and it'll encourage the other members that are associate members of Oceania, because they technically can't have football fields in their in their areas, like your Marshall Islands, your Micronesia, Kiribati, Tuvalu. They will potentially look to become full members and compete. Nauru. So we can look forward to stuff like that. Looking at the tournament, New Zealand obviously ran away with it, didn't concede a goal, but I think there's lots to be excited about this space. So
yeah.
New Caledonia, I think they've also shown enough talent that you can't really dismiss them. They could get a good draw and end up doing pretty well.
Yeah. Well, I'd say they're off to the Intercontinental playoff.
Yeah, they are off to the
2 games. They've win 2 games or 3 games, and I think the first one's home. The semi-finals home and away, right? Maybe, and then playoff against one of the 2 seeded teams. It's not that far-fetched to think that couple of an upset in the first game. It'll be an upset if they win, but it's not unheard of. And then you're flying high at that point. Who knows what happens? So. Exactly.
There is some incredible stories. We just finished off every continent's group stage. Europe will have a playoff stage, UEFA, which we will get to. And the other continents are all going into an intercontinental playoff, which will be, as the Fool just mentioned, happening after they get the draws done. The seeded teams in the intercontinental playoffs are Iraq, Democratic Republic of Congo, and the unseeded teams, spoiler alert, are Jamaica, Bolivia, Suriname, and the aforementioned New Caledonia.
Yeah.
So it's great to see. We'll get into the qualifying, and we'll obviously preview these playoffs as we get to March, which is the next international break.
Yeah.
Which it's crazy that we always get to this international break time of year, and we go international break, real football. But now we're like, oh man, can't wait for the next international break.
Yeah. That's the fun about the World Cup year, right? The international breaks become more and more interesting as we go through.
Absolutely.
As you say, these stories are unfolding, so they just adds a little bit more edge.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, we'll start off with, we're going into alphabetical order, the Asian Football Confederation. Now, this is a grueling confederation to go through. In fact, Iraq, who managed to make it to the playoffs, had to play 20 games
Ooh.
to get all the way through.
Yeah.
And they got extremely, like in that first round, Iraq, in the very, very first preliminary rounds, they managed to go through undefeated. They get to their, and they were in Group B, and they just miss out by 1 point to South Korea and Jordan. Jordan making their debut in this tournament. They then went into that fourth round. Fourth round, they would they were in a group with Saudi Arabia and Indonesia, and the other side had Qatar, United Arab Emirates, and Oman. Now, I'm not going to say that FIFA were corrupt, but you know, they played all the games in Saudi Arabia. So, yeah. And
sure, that
the
was
other
just
group
coincidental. It was just easier or something, you know.
Yeah. And the other group played all their games in Qatar. Qatar and Saudi made it through to the next round, and obviously the two second place teams, Iraq and the United Arab Emirates, had a final position to decide who'd get to the playoffs.
Yeah.
Iraq went to the UAE and drew 1-1, and they went back to Basra. United Arab Emirates managing to get a one draw initially until the 17th minute of injury time. Iraq win a penalty when there's a handball, an obvious handball in the penalty area. It's incredible scenes. They convert the penalty, and of course they make it to the playoffs.
17 minutes of stoppage time as well. Like, not extra time, stoppage time. That's crazy.
Sorry, I said injury time. Beg your pardon.
Yeah. No, injury time, yeah. Like, it's 19 minutes of it. That's just incredible. That's like another half of the game that they've added on the end of the half.
It was ridiculous scenes, and they're through, and they're one of the seeded teams. You love to see it. Obviously, congratulations to the other teams that have managed to qualify. Like two debutants from the AFC, Uzbekistan coming second in their Group A with 21 points. Nice. Behind Iran, who's qualified. They're an old hand at the AFC. We expect them in this tournament pretty much, especially an expanded tournament.
Yeah.
Like there is now. South Korea and Jordan make it through from Group B. At one point, Group B was extremely close. It looked like Palestine might make a final round position, which would have made things very interesting for the World Cup.
That would have been very interesting.
United States.
Yeah.
And Group C, we had Japan, once again, another team we just expect to qualify for these tournaments. And Australia managed to do the business against Saudi Arabia, making themselves get through. Saudi then had, along with Indonesia, went into the next round. And through no favorable draws or home advantage whatsoever, they managed to get through, obviously.
I mean, it was just made sense, right, to play it in Saudi Arabia. They've got the stadiums there. It just was easier, I'm sure.
Yep. Exactly.
Yeah. Cut down on costs.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, and environmental damage, all that travels, right.
Which is all very important. That's what they worry about.
Absolutely. FIFA obviously being the responsible world citizens that they are.
Exactly.
Next, we go to the CAF, the Confederation of African Football. The teams were divided into the groups. Now, despite the fact that we have an expansion in Africa, it's no easier in this tournament.
No.
They have basically the winner of every group got to get through, and you had the top 4 second place teams get through, and then eventually you had the and the second place to get through and do a playoff for an intercontinental spot. So it's really, really brutal qualification. We've have Egypt once again coming back to the World Cup, as you would expect with any team with Mohamed Salah to make it through. Senegal got through on 24 points. Like they did really well in their groups. DR Congo, as we mentioned, are in the playoffs. South Africa managed to get to 18 points, somehow getting ahead of Nigeria. Nigeria played absolute dog shit this qualifying tournament. They somehow managed on goal difference to get through to the second round. And we will cover that. Now, more excitingly, Group D, Cabo Verde, managing to get through and qualify for the World Cup, was initially the smallest team to make it to the World Cup until we'll get to that. Then we had Cameroon, the indomitable Lions, somehow getting second. So Cabo Verde actually beating one of what we would consider like the emperors of the continent. The Morocco, the team that made the semis, you'd expect them to get through in that group they had, and also they had the advantage Eritrea not being in there, so their matches didn't. So obviously, those matches didn't count for Niger, which is unfortunate because Niger couldn't make it through for them. Ivory Coast got through on Group F with Gabon just missing out on. Bad luck. This was a really tough group they were in, and Kenya managed to draw with Gabon. Kenya, eternal spoilers, never play to their potential, always choke, but they'll spoil it for someone else, right? That's the Kenya way. Then we got Algeria, the Desert Foxes. It looks like a usual suspects at this point. Tunisia, 28 points. Dominating their group, and Ghana 25. These are like, once again, the usual suspects. These are the guys you expect to be at the World Cup. South Africa, after a long time, since they hosted in 2010, so good performance from the Bafana. I hope Trevor Noah pays them their flowers. Then we got to the second round. Now Nigeria managed to beat Gabon at extra time 4-1. The game was 1-1 until then. And Cameroon lost to Democratic Republic of Congo. How the mighty have fallen.
I know, it's so sad.
And Nigeria then played DR Congo 1-1 at extra time, but with penalties they get through. So the Super Eagles, doesn't matter how you get to the dance as long as you get to the dance. Because if you're at the dance, you get to fuck the prom queen. As John Connery said in on The Rock. But DR Congo, they're not out. Nigeria, because they managed to... no, beg your pardon, Nigeria are out because they lost to... And the DR Congo get to the playoffs. So Super Eagles, no prom queen for them. Congo, they get to go through. Then we get to CONCACAF, the most interesting... Now, everybody thought CONCACAF was going to be a snooze fest because obviously you've got the three best teams, Canada, USA, and Mexico hosting, so they're not in qualifiers. And we had three teams who were going to qualify along with us having the runners-up playoff. Going to the Intercontinental Playoffs, the two best runners-up. Now, initially, Panama looked like they were about to miss off. Suriname were topping that group in Group A, but unfortunately, in that last day of games, Suriname lost 3-1 to Guatemala. Guatemala absolutely playing spoiler to them, and Panama managing to beat El Salvador 3-0 to make it through to the next round. Then we, on the last day, so this was literally all you had, it was everything to play for day. Group A. And Suriname still can make it to their to the World Cup. So, good luck to them. Then we went to Group B, Jamaica, a team that consistently makes the semifinals of the Gold Cup, but somehow always find a way to not qualify for the World Cup. They finished a point behind Curacao, who finished the group. Curacao got the draw they needed in Kingston, which is all they needed to do. So this was literally a match between the two teams that had to play for it all. At one point, it looked like Curacao might miss out, but Jamaica drew with Trinidad and Tobago. Nice spoiler play from them.
Nice.
And Jamaica get to the Intercontinental Playoffs, but we have another Caribbean team in the World Cup, and also a new team to make the World Cup. With Curacao getting through there. And then finally in Group C we had Haiti, and they also had to play again. They also had everything to play for on the last day. Costa Rica playing against Honduras. In fact, Costa Rica was also still mathematically able to make it through. And Haiti were playing against Nicaragua. Obviously, even though it says that it's a home game for them, there's no home games for Haiti. They play all their games away. Due to troubles in the country. So they won 2-0. What a great result for the country and the people and the players. Costa Rica drawing out. They're missing out on the World Cup after ages. Like, Costa Rica's a team that we always just pencil in CONCACAF. And we thought without the USA, Mexico, and Canada there, they're surely even more likely to get through.
But no.
Disappointing qualifying campaign for the Ticos, to say the least. Not even making it second place. Jamaica, Suriname getting through to the Intercontinental Confederation playoffs. So we'll see how their draw plays out and who they play, which path they fall in on. But the way this is going to be a super interesting Intercontinental playoffs. But CONCACAF was literally like on the last day, had every group with something to play for. Every group. At one point, it looked like we were going to get 3 teams in the Caribbean side, because obviously Suriname is considered to be a Caribbean part of North America, even though it's on the South American mainland. Whereas, like, it's crazy to think there's only going to be one Central American team from North America, when you consider the 3 best teams are just not there. Like, all 3 North American teams are not going to be in the qualifying because they're there at the big dance already. We had 2 of the like a resurgence for Caribbean football, Curacao and Haiti making it to the World Cup after a long time for Haiti as well. Because I believe the last time they qualified was in the 50s. If I'm not wrong.
Oh wow, that's a while back there.
Now, going on from CONCACAF, we move to CONMEBOL. Usually we would talk ages about CONMEBOL in that old 32 team qualification, because CONMEBOL was a grueling slugfest and it was super hard to qualify. This did not happen this time. Like, in the old rules, old system, Brazil in this World Cup would have had to go to an intercontinental playoff. They almost, so they potentially would have not qualified had we kept the old format around. They had a terrible tournament. Argentina showing that the world champions, how incredible they are. Number 1 seed in the FIFA World Rankings. Ecuador, I think an excellent qualifying tournament, coming 29 points. Obviously well behind Argentina, who are just dominant, absolutely, through the qualifying. Colombia making it through on 28 points. Uruguay as well, 28 points, so very tight. Brazil on 28 points and Paraguay on 28 points. So these 6 teams all getting through, and Bolivia quite a bit further behind on 20 points. Going to the Intercontinental playoffs. As we know, Bolivia is a hard away day. maybe one of the hardest away day in sports.
Yeah, I would say almost definitely. Like it's pretty grueling to play them at home.
Yeah. Yeah, and they basically they did beat Brazil at home when they played them.
Yeah.
So we know, and it's that home terrain advantage that's got them through here. Venezuela again miss out just for another World Cup. But yeah, look at that. CONMEBOL is just not interesting anymore, right? Like this was the one we loved talking about in the old format.
It's to say, like in the old format, it was like 4+1, and you look at that that from second place down to sixth place, we're all within a point of each other. Imagine that, where it was 4 going and then 1, and one of those misses out, even though they're all in the same points. Like it just would have been crazy.
Yeah. These last 2 weeks would have been so incredibly exciting, but those teams all knew they'd qualified for the World Cup, so
exactly.
it was chill.
Yeah. It's very interesting that
they were basically playing for pride.
Yeah.
At that point. So, CONMEBOL, we've got our qualifiers from there, and finally we go to the big daddy, UEFA. The Confederation is divided in all the way from Group A to Group L. Each group's winners would qualify for the next round, and second place teams would qualify for the playoffs. And then there was a bunch of spots added for teams that, depending on how well they did in the Nations League. So now, to nobody's surprise, the leading scorer for UEFA qualifying was Erling Haaland, 16 goals.
It's crazy.
In 8 games for Norway. The term scoring goals for fun is almost like doesn't give it enough justice for how good he's been this season. But it's like both club and country. There's no surprise. There are some surprises, but also no surprises. Because let's say number 1, Group A, Germany. They always qualify. There's not even any reason to expect them not to. Then in Group B we had, and I think Germany only had the 1 loss, so it was tricky in that because it's 4 team groups, that can lead to issues if you lose a game here and there. But
I think they lost to Slovakia in Slovakia, which made the game yesterday, day before, whenever it was, which was the return one, Slovakia going to Germany, was a little bit interesting, because they were both on 12 points for that. But obviously Germany won it in Germany, so it sort of quite easily it gave them a very commanding bit. But there was possibly a timeline where Germany had to go to the playoffs as opposed to just taking it.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Right, so.
Then in Group B we had Switzerland qualify automatically. Once again, another team that does really well in qualifying. But there was everything to play for, just like in Group B against. Because Kosovo was still well able to qualify if they had won in their last game, but it turned out to be a draw. But I think it was like a ridiculous thing, like they needed to beat Switzerland 9-0, so that was never going to happen.
There was a few of those as we go down where the goal difference was so fast. There was like, they need to win by 9 goals and something else and something else. And it was just, gets a bit crazy.
And Switzerland got through with Kosovo making to the playoffs. Sweden managed to advance because of their Nations League progress. They've only scored 2 points in their qualifying round, so this is not a very good Swedish team, I would think. Or at least they're not playing well.
They definitely were not playing well through these qualifying bits. Maybe arguably because they sort of knew they were already sort of at least had second chance one, maybe that played into it. I don't know, because they're not normally this bad, and they were very bad. So
yeah, the next group in Group C, we have Scotland qualified through, but also this was a game where things went weird. At one point, it looked like Scotland were all completely out. They managed to somehow lose to Greece, but on that same round of games, Denmark drew with Belarus, getting their only point. That win would have given Denmark the qualifier.
Yeah.
And they had to play Scotland, or at least made them comfortable going to Scotland. They went to Hampton Park and lost 4-2. Obviously, my boy, Scott McTominay, scores the opening goal to get things underway.
I see it's a more, last-minute heroics by the Scots there as well to take it. So, McTominay 1-0, Holland 1-1. Shackland 2-1, Dordu 2-2 before Scotland scored two in added time to take the game. So
it's a crazy outcome here for Scotland, but they're back at the big show. And Denmark go to the playoffs, but they beat legit teams to get there. Scotland, so there's no fluke, there's no luck. They got there fair and square, and they can be proud, and they've got the performances in the end that they needed. The next group, we had France. The team that were undefeated in qualifying, just one draw, goal difference of 12. They were very comfortable getting through. Ukraine advancing to the playoffs. Easily the second best team in this tournament. Ukraine confirmed their position by beating Iceland on the last day, confirming that they'll be in the European playoffs for the tournament. Not to be outdone, obviously he's nowhere near what Erling Haaland's done, but 5 goals for Kylian Mbappe through this qualifying campaign.
That's not bad.
Not too shabby. And, given his team has so many good players who will also score goals, we can't expect him to get Haaland numbers, but still nothing to sneer at, I would think.
No, that's a pretty good return, really.
5 goals in 6 games, absolutely. No Frenchman can complain. Going on to Group E, obviously Spain, also undefeated, 5 wins, 1 draw. Once again, there was very little to play for on the last day. I think Spain had to play Turkey, and they got the draw they needed to confirm they would get through. There, Mikel Merino and Mikel Oyarzabal with 6 goals each. So the Spain team is scary good. Really, 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 really good. Rightfully one of the favorites going into the tournament. Turkey also had a great qualifying. We'll see how they do in the playoffs. How harsh or good the draw is to them. But we're at this stage. They're in the playoffs, so you're still in the dance.
I mean, Turkey's looking good, though, in that they were scoring goals. They're the only ones to score goals against Spain during this qualifying. I mean, Georgia and Bulgaria are the other ones, but still, they're scoring, they're looking threatening, so playoffs could be interesting.
Absolutely. Next up, we go to Group F, where it was also extremely action-packed in the last few weeks. Portugal looked like they were going to easily make it through, but they end up losing 2-0 to Republic of Ireland. Ronaldo's first ever red card for Portugal. Ironically, I think this played into Portugal's hands, because without Ronaldo, they scored 9 goals against Armenia.
It's crazy to think.
winning 9-1. Well, the Republic of Ireland did the job they needed to do. They got their win and they made it to the playoffs, which all you can really ask for.
And that very much was a last minute. That may even been the last touch of the game. Was the winner there for Ireland.
Yeah. It was dramatic scenes for sure. Now, obviously, Ronaldo was a bit of a meme in this qualifying, but he's also scored 5 goals. In 5 games. So any rumors about his demise, I think, are greatly exaggerated.
Oh no, 100%.
And the base at this point, Portugal are still one of the teams that are going to be, I think, one of the hardest teams to face in the tournament when it comes around. We'll obviously have to see how the draw is for them, but once again, I think they're a scary team, and the qualifying's been nothing to sneer at. The fact that they had a bit of a tough group. This happens. Ireland's come back, I think, in good form. So they deserve to make it to the playoffs. Next, we go to Group G, where the Netherlands have made it to the World Cup after missing out last time. They didn't miss out last time. They missed out the time before that. This time they managed to also be undefeated. This group is a bigger group with 5 teams, so they won 6 and drew 2. Goal difference of 23. So they basically did the business really well. It was still close going into the last day. The Netherlands did the job against Lithuania. Poland got their win against Malta to make it to the playoffs. Now, this group, Memphis Depay, 8 goals in 8 games. Absolutely on fire. And we also have Cody Gakpo getting 4 goals. So the Netherlands did not have an issue with getting goals done. And they only conceded 4 goals in 8 games. So
that's pretty good.
At the back as well. So if you're a fan of the Dutch football team, there's much to be hopeful about coming into the tournament. Next, we had Group H, which I think when we reviewed this group, we thought it was one of the easier groups to get out from.
Sort of, yes. It maybe ended up that way, but
Like the Austria, obviously number 1 seed here, and Ralph Rangnick took his boys to the big dance. First time in a long time. I think the last time I saw Austria at the World Cup was in 1990. In Italy, they get 19 points. Bosnia and Herzegovina and Romania managed to make it through to the playoffs. Romania via the Nations League. Marko Arnautovic, like who else, scoring all the goals for Austria. 8 goals in qualifying. They're gonna relish the chance to show what they're made of, and like with this team, because they all play in Austria, they play for Salzburg, they know their style, they're really, really hard to beat. And Ralph Rangnick, he invented Red Bull football. So they've got exactly the right person coaching them. Now going on to the next group is the group with the Viking, Norway, Group I. This is basically the Erling Haaland show. He got 8 games, and Norway absolutely smashed Italy. There was nothing to play for 2 rounds because Norway had made it ages ago to the big dance. Erling Haaland, 16 goals in qualifying in 8 games.
Still crazy.
By the way, he's only got the 1 hat-trick, so he has scored in every game.
That is just crazy to think of.
2 in multiple games.
All but one game he scored 2. Well, all but 2 games he scored 2. One of them he scored 3, the other he just scored 1. So.
Yeah. He's in ridiculous form.
Yeah.
And Norway, like, they've got to be a dark horse for this World Cup. Like I've said previously, all you need to do in the World Cup to improve your chances is bring an on-form striker with you. And if Martin Odegaard can get the ball to him, and why wouldn't he?
Yeah.
Be able to, then Erling Haaland will score goals. Excuse me.
No, easily he'll be.
Italy advanced to the playoffs. Now, only 4 teams out of 12 will make it from the playoffs.
Yeah.
From my understanding, so. Statistically, Italy look like they could potentially not make it to another World Cup. It
is very possible for them not to make it.
Depends a little bit on those strong teams. Yeah, it depends on what sort of draws they get, but there are some very, very strong teams in the playoffs for the World Cup, and it's ridiculous. It's an expanded tournament. How did Italy not make it? And somehow they won a Euros in that time as well.
Yeah, just to be a little bit crazy.
It is a bit crazy. I guess the difference is Conte, right? He was the manager.
Yeah.
When they won the Euros. And then we go to the Group J, where Belgium, they've made it through. One last hurrah for this golden generation. Undefeated again, 5 wins, 3 draws. This was another tight group. On the last day, Wales still had a lot to play for. Wales in the end only 2 points behind Belgium. They ended up beating North Macedonia 7-1, but Belgium won 7-0 against Liechtenstein, so that was that. Yeah. It would have been really funny if Liechtenstein had managed to beat Belgium and Belgium somehow had to go through the playoffs. North Macedonia also getting through on the Nations League.
Yeah.
Despite their thumping. Kevin De Bruyne getting 6 goals, and Jeremy Doku with 5. So anyone saying Kevin De Bruyne's past it, I think we'll have something else coming to them. And this was their last chance, so let's see how Belgium do in this World Cup. But they've made it there, so that's half the job done. And next group, we have the mighty England. 8 games, 8 wins, perfect qualifier, did not concede a goal. Absolute masterclass from Thomas Tuchel, getting the best out of his men.
Yeah.
And in fact, never looked like conceding a goal. They just looked really, really good. The Albania managing to beat Serbia last week to basically guarantee that they will make it to the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
And Harry Kane with 8 goals. Who else?
Yeah.
To get through. I know because it's England, people are always complaining, but I think this is the great England side. Once again, another team that has to be considered one of the favorites going into the tournament next year. And also kind of like the look of Albania for the playoffs. They didn't do too badly against England, and they had good teams in the group who they managed to do the business against.
Yeah.
And they only lost to England in their 2 games. So, they've proven their worth. And the final group, Group L, we get Croatia qualifying with 22 points, Czech Republic advancing the playoffs. Once again, Croatia comfortable, 7 wins and 1 draw. Czech Republic only losing 2 games, I believe, to Croatia.
1 to Croatia, and 1 to... and then they lost to Faroe Islands?
Oh, that's right. They did lose to the Faroe Islands.
Yes, they did. Wow.
At one point, it looked like the Faroe Islands might have gotten in ahead of them.
Yeah,
that's right.
That
so the Czech Republic kind of lucky to didn't play their best, but they are in the playoffs. Anything can happen, as we mentioned in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Going. But Croatia, it's an aging team. Once again, another last hurrah moment for this team. They played exactly how we would expect. Andrej Kramaric with 6 goals, even Perisic with 4, and Patrick. So this team, they're still well coached. They've still got a core of that golden generation of players. They're again another team that's a potential dark horse, depending on how the draw plays out for them.
Yeah,
I think
definitely. I mean, yeah, that draw does have a lot to determine there, but was it 4 groups of 4? That's the right number, right? And then yeah. So who gets into each of those 4 groups, and then semi-finals, and then a final. So how that all works out and gets drawn is going to determine a lot on that. So there could be some luck in there involved. Draws out of there, but yeah, see how they all go.
Yeah, it's gonna be a real interesting tournament.
Yeah.
Like the playoffs are gonna start in March next year. Like I said, we will cover them.
Yeah.
They both the European and the Intercontinentals, but at this stage, it's an incredible tournament. Like, if you think of it, Erling Haaland has outscored even players in the Asian qualifying, where they had to play up to 20 games.
Yeah, that is crazy to think of, actually.
Like, the second most after Erling Haaland all of World Cup qualifying is Almoez Ali from Qatar. Then in 10 goals, you've got Mohamed Almoura, Mehdi Taremi, and Mohamed Almoura from Algeria, Mehdi Taremi from Iran, and Song Hyun Min from South Korea. And then with 9 goals, we have Mohamed Salah of Egypt, Ali Olwan from Jordan, and Chris Wood from New Zealand. Hell yeah! But yeah, even then, Haaland's numbers are like stratospheric. It has to be like a record in UEFA qualification history.
Has to. It's crazy to think of, really.
Yeah. But at this point, like, as we said, this international break, it's come at exactly the right time, I think, for both you and me in terms of our Premier League teams. We needed them to take a couple of weeks not playing, to not be in the news, and a bunch of our players go back to their national team and hopefully get form. But having such an exciting World Cup qualifying round has just whet the appetite for next year.
Yeah.
And the qualifiers next year. Next March, we've got. We'll find out who the remaining qualifiers will be. At this stage, I think we've got pretty much all the all the continental guys sorted out, apart from European playoff spots.
Yeah. It's just the playoffs left. You say European playoffs and then the intercontinental playoffs.
Yeah. It's a confusing format. I don't fully understand it. I'm sure I'll get the gist of it. And by the time I do, they'll expand this tournament to 64 teams. You know,
or
just
more.
'cause.
Why not just have everybody in the one tournament? Come on, people. You know they're ending there anyway, so.
Yeah, pretty much. But yeah, this has been incredible week of football. Look forward to talking to you guys about this again in a few months' time. At this stage, I think that's all we have time for today.
Yeah.
Thanks very much for listening, and we'll catch you next time.
Catch you next time.
Well, that is the end. Thanks for listening all the way through.
If you liked what you heard, we have even more. 9642 Discord and a Buy Me a Coffee.
Pretty sure it's Buy Me a Beer.
Oh yeah, buy me a beer on buymeacoffee.com.
In both these places, you can talk to us, and we may even listen, especially if you do buy a said beer or coffee. I might still be confused.
Yes, we're easily bribed. All links are in the show notes below.
Don't forget to like and subscribe.
This is on YouTube.